Hey guys, today I will be taking a look at the new updated Economist forecast for the 2020 presidential election. I think this is definitely one of the best forecasts forecasting this election. Before we get into it, make sure you join my Discord server if you have not. The link is at the very top of the description below. So taking a look at this forecast, Donald Trump is in a really bad position in terms of his chances of victory in November. Joe Biden has right now a 91% chance of winning the election with just 3 weeks to go until election night. Donald Trump, on the other hand, he has a 9% chance of winning the Electoral College. And in terms of winning the popular vote, Joe Biden now has a 99% chance of winning the popular vote over Donald Trump with less than 1% chance of winning the popular vote. So this is devastating for Donald Trump. I mean, he literally has no chance of winning more votes than Joe Biden. The only way for President Trump right now to win this election is to win less votes but be able to win that 270 electoral votes. I think that if Trump were to, for some very, very strange reason, win the election, he would win the election by, 2-3 electoral votes. Honestly, a 271 to 267 scenario really is not too unlikely if it were for a Trump victory. And then the predicted range of electoral college votes for Joe Biden and Donald Trump, 227 to 421 for Joe Biden, so a huge range, even from 227. Hillary Clinton only won 232 electoral votes in 2016, so the worst case scenario is barely worse than what Clinton got in 2016. And then for President Trump, it is between 117 to 311 electoral votes. Keep in mind, President Trump won 306 electoral votes 4 years ago. So 311 in his best case scenario ever, he would win just 5 more electoral votes than he did last time. So definitely we're going to see something like we saw with President Obama if Trump were to really win re-election, where he would win by a smaller margin than he did in 2016. And then taking a look at how their estimated electoral college votes has changed. As you can see, Joe Biden currently 343 electoral votes to President Trump 195. That is the current average. This is a pretty high point for Joe Biden. I mean, he was up at around 350 electoral votes just a couple of days ago. However, 343, that's still a very, very good chance for Joe Biden of winning this election. And then in terms of the chances of victory, I mean, Joe Biden doing better than ever. He really only needs 270. So even if he wins 343, that won't change anything. He will still become the 46th president of the United States. So chances of victory, Joe Biden, 91% chance of winning this whole election in November. It's a little bit down from a couple days ago. However, still, it's very incremental. And then as you can see, the race was pretty close in the beginning days of this race. I mean, in March and April, it was pretty close between Biden and Trump. However, after May, Biden really was able to take a commanding lead, and then after June, where the Black Lives Matter protests began, Biden was able to, increase his lead further. It's never gone back down. It did dip a little bit in early September and late August after the Republican National Convention. However, it has come back up after the first debate held on the 29th of September, and then after Trump caught COVID-19, it went all the way up even more to Biden's historical peak of 92% chance in terms of his chances of victory in the 2020 presidential election. And then basically they do a lot of simulations for the 2020 election, and out of their 2,000 possible paths for this election, they have plotted all of them here. I mean, taking a look at this, huge amounts of Biden victories. I mean, the one that occurs the most is where Biden wins around 320 electoral votes right here. I mean, you see scenarios where Biden wins over 450 electoral votes. That's not going to happen, but still, it's nice, it's surprising to see that Joe Biden even has that scenario possible. And Donald Trump's best scenario is less than 369 electoral votes, less than Barack Obama's margin in 2008. So definitely a lot more Trump winning scenarios, as you can see here. And if we were to plot this by winner into this nice little rectangle here, basically you see everything is blue with tiny patches of red. And if you were to pick a square, there would be a 91% chance that it would be blue, meaning a Biden victory. And there's a less than 1% chance of there being a tie in the Electoral College, 269 to 269 electoral votes. And this is the Economist Electoral Map. This basically shows what chance that they give either candidate of winning each state. So chances of winning each state, as you can see, the safe states for Joe Biden, we have quite a few safe states. I mean, we have Washington, Oregon, California, all the West Coast, all very safe for Joe Biden. The state of Hawaii as well. Oregon actually wasn't even a solid state in terms of margins for Hillary Clinton in 2016. We also have, of course, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, all of these northeastern states, over a 99% chance of going to Joe Biden. Virginia, 98% chance, a state that the GOP has not been able to win a statewide victory in over a decade. So Virginia is a likely state. And we also have Arizona's 67% chance of flipping to Joe Biden. That's a 2 and 3% chance that Joe Biden flips the state for the first time for the Democratic Party since 1996. He also has a great chance of victory in Nevada, 88% chance of winning a state that Clinton was expected to lose in 2016, and a state that she ended up winning by just 2.4%. We also have some pretty surprising data from the state of North Carolina, 65% chance of a Biden victory in North Carolina. That's a 2 and 3 chance as well. I mean, North Carolina has the same chance of winning Joe Biden right now as the state of Arizona. If we were to take a look at the data in North Carolina, if it's going to load, as you can see, he has a predicted 46 to 56% share of the popular vote here. As you can see, Joe Biden's numbers have increased drastically in the last couple of just days in the state of North Carolina, just because his polling numbers are much better than they were just a couple weeks ago. I mean, got pretty close at one point, and it's better now for Joe Biden in North Carolina. He has a better chance of winning this state right now than he did when he peaked nationwide, basically in most states during the summer months of June and July. And if this map will come back to us, yeah, we can see it right here. The state of Florida has also seen a huge shift in favor of Joe Biden. I also want to take a look at this crucial state. I mean, the numbers here got pretty close in September and August. No, September and early October, they were pretty close. However, now Joe Biden, pretty comfortable, 76% chance of victory. Trump at his lowest point ever, besides when he reached 20 points in late August. However, Trump at a pretty low point here in Florida, state that he won by 1.2% in 2016. 29 electoral votes, a state that Donald Trump cannot win the election without. This is the most important state for President Trump. So Joe Biden doing very, very well here in the state of Florida. As you can see up there at 76% chance of victory for the former vice president. And just overall, just some great numbers for Joe Biden. I mean, the polling average is also increasing for Joe Biden. If we were to take a look at the polls here, I mean, Joe Biden doing much better than he was in September. Trump actually led in some polls. However, now Joe Biden is consistently leading over the former vice president here in the state of Florida. So that's another good sign for Joe Biden. I mean, Donald Trump definitely has a lot of catch up that he has to do, and in the last couple of weeks it really is not showing. Joe Biden is increasing his lead as the election approaches, and that is horrible for President Trump. President Trump was able to gain most of his momentum in the last weeks of his campaign in 2016, reacted much more presidential, and this time around we're not seeing anything like that, like we saw in 2016, where he really did try to act more presidential as the election approaches. Minnesota, 95% chance of a Joe Biden victory, said that Clinton won by just 1.5% in 2016. New Hampshire, 93% chance, a state that Clinton won by just 0.3%, the smallest of margins, made a 99% chance of a Biden victory. I mean, we have the state of Michigan, 92% chance. I want to take a look at Michigan, and not because I think that the race here is close, but this is a state that went to the president in 2016, and now Joe Biden has a 92% chance of flipping this state. This is a state that Donald Trump, again, cannot win the election without. I mean, he can technically do it, but the chances of Donald Trump having a victory without the state of Michigan are very small. Joe Biden, 92% chance of flipping this state. His numbers are ever increasing here. We really do not see that kind of dip in Michigan that we saw in other Rust Belt states like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin in late August and early September, where we saw that Biden's chances fell quite a bit in those months. However, Joe Biden ever increasing, really didn't see too much of a dip in September either. So Michigan has been pretty solid for Joe Biden this entire campaign, and there's no doubt in my mind that Joe Biden is going to flip the state of Michigan. Pennsylvania, this is birth state, 88% chance of victory for Joe Biden here. The numbers did dip down for Joe Biden quite a bit in September. I mean, you see an even larger dip in 538 chances of victory over time. And if you take a look at the betting markets, you see an even larger shift to the right in terms of who people thought would win in the state of Pennsylvania in early September. But now Joe Biden 88% chance. That is basically his peak. He peaked a couple days ago at 89%. But Joe Biden doing better than ever. This is just such a favorable map right now. Joe Biden, honestly, there's really no spots where Joe Biden really needs to improve on. He has all the states that he needs. He has plenty of extra states and plenty of pathways to victory, which is really what is important here. Wisconsin, a state that when this race began was expected to go to the president. But after, everything that's happened, COVID-19, the racial riots that have been sparked all across the country, COVID-19 still a recurring issue, the economy basically just exploding, in a bad way in March. It has rebounded back, but the economy still isn't strong. There's still millions of people who are unemployed that previously were not. So definitely, Donald Trump in very bad shape as the election approaches. Joe Biden's getting endorsements from Cindy McCain, many notable Republicans like John Kasich, as we saw during the DNC. So Joe Biden really being able to flip over many voters and win over those undecided voters. That is really what is helping Joe Biden right now, and he's probably going to win the undecided category. The category that decides very late, unlike 2016 when Clinton lost that category by huge margin. So, as you can see down here, these are the states that Joe Biden needs. He needs every state up until Pennsylvania, which I do think is going to be the tipping point state, the state that is going to get the former vice president over 270 electoral votes. We have the state of Nevada, 6 electoral votes, Florida, 29, not a state that Biden needs. He does not need Arizona either, 11 electoral votes. He doesn't need Nevada, doesn't need North Carolina, 15 electoral votes. These white states, these are the most competitive states in this election, and that really says a lot. Georgia is one of the most competitive states, Ohio as well, and Iowa. These are states that Iowa won by President Trump by 9% 4 years ago. The state of Ohio, also huge margin, 8%. The state of Georgia, 6%. So Donald Trump is fighting for his life in these states. He is polling behind the former vice president in all 3 of these states. The only battleground state that Donald Trump actually leads in is Texas, where he has a 72% chance of winning a state that has not gone to a Democrat since 1976. So, President Trump, a positive sign that he's going to win Texas, I guess, 38 electoral votes, a state that he definitively cannot win the election without. But, it's just Joe Biden still does have a 1 in 4% chance of flipping this very, very important, very crucial Republican stronghold state. And then Georgia, 16 electoral votes, 56% chance of a Trump victory. That is tiny for the current president. Joe Biden was expected to win for, a couple of days on the 8th of October. He did fall, but still, Joe Biden doing very, very well here. The numbers are pretty close in Georgia. At the beginning of this campaign, Donald Trump had an 80% chance of winning this state. Now it's 56%. And if we were to take a look at the numbers in the expected range, the polls are not good for President Trump. Joe Biden, I believe, as you can see, Joe Biden's doing pretty well in the polls here. On 530, he actually leads in terms of the polling data. So, this honestly, I think Joe Biden has a very good chance of flipping this state. And in my opinion, I think that Joe Biden has a great chance of flipping Iowa, Ohio, and Georgia, unless Donald Trump really does have a great week this week. He needs a great week. A good week is not going to cut it. Donald Trump needs to win voters back, not continue to lose them. And as long as he doesn't lose them, Joe Biden's, if he only does just not lose them, Joe Biden's still going to win. Donald Trump needs to pander towards those undecided voters like he was able to 4 years ago, seeming like the more trustable candidate, because although people did not trust President Trump that much, they trusted him much more than they trusted Hillary Clinton, and that is something that Trump definitely needs to do again. I'm taking a look at some of these key races, Pennsylvania +6 for Joe Biden, Florida +4, Michigan +7, Wisconsin +6. These 4 states, all states that went to the president. North Carolina +2, another state that went to Trump in 2016. Minnesota +8, a state that went to Clinton by less than 2% in 2016. Arizona, another Trump state, +2 for Joe Biden. New Hampshire, a state that Clinton won by less than half a percentage point 4 years ago, +7 for Joe Biden. Texas +3 for President Trump. Nevada +6 for Joe Biden. So, look at these winning probabilities. 91% in Wisconsin and 92% in Michigan. These are the key states. These are the closest states and the most, decisive states in this election. And Joe Biden has, over 90% chance of winning these states. So, Joe Biden, again, in a very, very good position right now. We can see more states if we want. If we want to take a look at some other states, Georgia, +1 for President Trump, New Mexico +14 for Joe Biden, Colorado +12, Iowa, Ohio +1 and +2 for the current president. So, you see a lot of these safer states down here. So this is all looking very good for Joe Biden. And taking a look at how their model has changed in terms of their forecast, Joe Biden currently expected to win 54.3% of the popular vote to President Trump with 45.7. That's pretty good for Joe Biden, one of his better numbers. It is still expected to get a little bit closer as election night approaches. However, still, Joe Biden's still in very good position, expected to get around 54.1 to 45.9%. The polls, if we highlight the polls, Joe Biden, you see a clear increase for Joe Biden. I mean, the polls have gone all the way up there. I mean, this is a poll showing Biden up 7 or 18 points over President Trump. I mean, these are just great numbers for Joe Biden. You can see a lot of these polls that are really going very well for the former vice president, and shows that he is really on the pathway to victory at this point in time. And just look at these huge margins. And if you see, the election has gotten better and better for Joe Biden as time progressed. Joe Biden's lead is not shrinking, and it probably will not shrink by too much, as his lead has just been so consistent this entire election cycle. And then this down here just shows you how the states move. I mean, it shows how states are similar demographically. So you can take a look at all of this by yourself. This is the Economist forecast. Just Google that and you will find all of this. And really, it's a pretty interesting forecast to take a look at. So I definitely recommend that you take a look at it if you want to have a broader understanding of the election. Make sure you join my Discord if you have not. Again, it is at the very top of the description below. And I would like to thank you guys all so much for watching this video. Leave a like down below if you haven't subscribed to my channel. If you have not either, we're very close hitting 10K. Really appreciate it. And yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments below along with any suggestions you would like to see from me in the future, and I will see all of you guys in the next video.